to know that you're still tuned to the show this morning. On our discussion segment, we have, like always, something very insightful and informative. We will take a look at cancer as one of the prevalent diseases in Nigeria. And my guest is already seated with me. Please let's make welcome Dr. Opeyemi Muili. She's the medical director for AFED.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being here this morning.
Thank you for having me. Good morning, Abuja. Good morning, Nigeria. It's so good to be here. It's always a pleasure to be here to talk about things affecting public health in Nigeria and in the world as a whole. So thank you for having me. It's my pleasure to be here.
Let us start by taking a look at what cancer is in the first place.
Okay. As you rightly said, cancer is one of the most prevalent diseases ravaging the world right now. And cancer is simply an abnormal growth in any part of the body. Talk about any part of from the head to toe, there can be abnormal growth in the body. So cancer is that abnormal growth that occurs in the cells of any part of the body. And I remember in primary school or secondary school, we taught about cell. Cell is the basic unit of life. Like everybody, every part of our body is made up of cells. So these are the things that grow abnormally and result to cancer. So we can refer to cancer as the bad guy because it is quite malignant. So malignancy means something that is bad. This is to say that there can be other growths in the body, other growths that are abnormal, but that are not cancerous, but they are not malignant. But cancer is an abnormal growth in any part of the body that's malignant.
And that's when it becomes terminal.
Yes. There are stages of cancer. So the terminal is the last stage. I know that it's palliative. There's no cure, and you can only give palliative care. You can only care for the pain and the symptoms. But it's already terminal means the person will eventually have to,
Does maintaining a healthy weight by any means influence this?
Yes, a whole lot. There are risk factors that cause cancer, and obesity is one of the risk factors. Obesity is defined as a BMI, that's a body mass index, that is more than 20, that is more than 30. So basically, let's talk about the normal. So the normal BMI is supposed to be around 18.5 to 24.9. So anything that is above 25 is overweight, and anything that is above 30 is obesity. So because of how obesity is linked with so many other diseases like diabetes, hypertension, it's also a very important risk factor in causing cancer. This is because the mechanism has not been well explained, but because of the fact that obesity exposes people to high level of sugar and insulin. So let's talk about insulin a bit. Insulin is an hormone in the body that actually processes the sugar that we take. So in people that are obese, this hormone, insulin, is not able to work effectively. It's resistant. The body resists it because of the high level of sugar in the body. And when this happens, they are not able to break down the sugar, and then this allows for the growth of abnormal cells. This allows abnormal cells to thrive in the body, and this also exposes them to cancer. And this obesity that we talk about is not even in how somebody looks. It's about how the internal organs look. That's what we call this visceral fat. How the heart looks, how it is surrounded by fat. And when this happens, these organs are not able to function properly, and abnormal growth can occur in them, and this can cause cancer. So yeah, obesity is a very important risk factor that causes cancer.
So I see it like it's one of those things that can trigger your life, your diet, the things your intakes, and that can predispose one.
Exactly.
Okay, speaking of that, what is the role of alcohol, carbonated drinks, and other such things to exposing one to this risk?
Okay, like I've said, there are general risk factors that cause cancer, and alcohol is also one of the very important risk factors that causes cancer. Alcohol exposes people to cancer because alcohol has been found to contain even the bitter alcohol. They're actually made up of sugar and fat. And as I've mentioned, the role that sugar plays in aiding an atmosphere for abnormal cells to thrive, to grow in the body. So when you take alcohol, like excessive alcohol, the normal alcohol limit in the body for men shouldn't take more than 2 bottles a day, and for women shouldn't take more than 1 bottle a day. So when you take this, you expose the cells in your body to more sugar, which can now which can be an environment for these cancerous cells to thrive. So yeah, and there are also other things that alcohol is made up of, like benzene, that have been found to be carcinogenic, that can also can increase your risk to cancer. For caffeine or carbonated drinks, the exact cause has not been determined, like has not been ascertained why it causes cancer, but it can also be explained due to what I've said, that some of these drinks contains carcinogens. Carcinogens are things that can predispose you to cancer, like things that things that have components that can predispose you to cancer, like saccharin, like benzene that I've said. So that's what happens with carbonated drinks and alcohol. That's how they increase the risk for having cancer.
Interesting. Okay, so now on the other hand, the opposite side of it, what are some of those diet changes that one should invest in to reduce this risk?
Thank you. Diet is very important. It's a very important part of our life. In fact, someone that eats well and drinks water can actually live a very, very good life. A life that is devoid of diseases and especially cancer. So talking about diet, we want to eat food that is very rich in fruits, vegetables, fiber, very little carbohydrate. But fruit, vegetables, water. Like water is also very important. So avoid food that contain that are processed. Food that contain processed food, sausages, junks, fatty food. But the things that you should focus on: fruits, vegetables, then fiber. Very important.
Interesting. The month of October is actually dedicated to breast cancer awareness worldwide. So now, Doug, let's delve a little bit into breast cancer. What is it? What is that major difference between how it can present in men and how it can present in women?
Okay. Talk about that. It's very important to know that it's not just women that can have breast cancer. Men also have breast cancer, but it's just that the ratio is quite tilted more in women.
Okay.
So
Why is that?
About 0.5 to 1% of men can get cancer, but about over 90%, like 90%, the what do I want to say now? I'll talk about the. Okay, breast cancer is more prevalent in women than men. So only about 0.5 or 1% of men can get breast cancer, while the other percentage is for women. And this is because of mostly because of the hormones in the body. Women have estrogen, and this estrogen is actually a thriving factor, the one that allows cancer to thrive if it is in excess. So that's why we also talk about women that use COCPs, combined oral contraceptive pills, because this can predispose them to cancer. Women are on hormone replacement therapy because of menopause, because estrogen is a very important hormone in the causing of cancer. Estrogen is very vital. It's very vital. It's very key in the development of cancer. So yeah, because women have estrogen and men have very little estrogen and a lot of testosterone. So that hormone, hormone alone is something that predisposes women to cancer. That's amongst other risk factors, such as as we've mentioned, obesity. Then genetics, very key.
Oh,
Genetics is very key. So that's why it's very important to know family history. Has anybody had any cancer? In fact, any cancer at all. Any at all can predispose you. And then more importantly, breast cancer. So if there has been a history of breast cancer, it's very possible that there can be. Then if there has also been any history of abnormal growth in the breast, because as I said earlier, that not all abnormal growths are cancer. But if you've had any abnormal growth in the body, in the breast, you can also be predisposed to breast cancer. And also smoking is a very important risk factor. And that's why we always advocate for no smoking. Smoking is very important because of radiation that exposes to, because of the chemicals that it contains, that smoking contains, that can also predispose you to breast cancer. Also, any form of radiation, like those that work in radiotherapy, those that work in radiology, those that work where exposure to radiation. Yes.
Are there any risk? Are there any signs, any danger signs that should that should tell you that you need to go get a mammogram or something?
Yes, yes, there are signs, and that's why we always talk about self breast examination.
Okay.
If you see something, then you can say something, but you will not see something if you are not looking. So you have to actively look. It's very important that every month you stand in front of a mirror and examine your breast. You check for any change in color, any change in size, any abnormal growth in the breast, no matter how small, any lump in the breast, any change in size, any change in color, any rash, any itchiness in the breast, in the armpits, you also examine your nipple. Look at the nipple. Is there any change? Is it dimpling? Is it going in? Has it come out more than it used to be? Any discharge? You press and see is there any discharge, and you make sure that you don't forget your armpit. There's any growth in the armpit, any rash, any discoloration. So these are some of the symptoms that you can see that you have to go to the hospital and examine that breast. So that is for the breast.
Okay.
And then there are also other symptoms of the body that I also have to look out for. So like weight. Are you losing weight? Like are your clothes now loose? Very important.
For men and women.
For men and women. You have to look at your clothes. You have to be very conscious of your weight. Be very wary of your weight. And are you losing appetite? Like are you finding it difficult to eat? Are you easily satisfied when you eat? So I'm just talking about the general, symptoms aside the specific symptoms for the breast.
Interesting. Dr. Okpeyemi Muile this morning on Good Morning Abuja, educating us on cancer awareness and advocacy. If you're just joining us, this is Good Morning Abuja on the Unity Station. We'll take a short break now, and when we come back, Dr. Okpeyemi Muile has more insights into the discussion. Please stay with us. Welcome back, and it's so good to know that you're still tuned to the program. Doc, we're back on it. Okay, now for those who are already predisposed, those who are already living with the disease, what can you tell them about how to care for and probably elongate lifespan?
Okay, thank you so much. As we know, cancer is a very, very serious disease which can also be very deadly. But it's also important to know that it's not a death sentence, and that is where the early detection comes in. Like it is key. Early detection is key, and you can't detect something that you don't know, something that you are not aware of. So yeah, it's very important to catch it very early, catch it very young, so that it can help elongate the life. So in this early detection, it has to do with going to the hospital for routine checkups to know, is there any abnormal growth, is there anything going on in the body, so that they can start what they want to start treatment, and then their lifespan can be elongated. This is very important because we have what we call early and advanced. So those that stages, yes, of cancer. So those that the cancer is already advanced, they are the ones that are at risk of early death. That people that there might be nothing that they can do about it. But those that catch it early, with proper care, some chemotherapy, some lifestyle modification, lifestyle changes, they can get better. And some even go into remission. Remission means that they become cancer free. So yeah,
how does that happen?
It happens with very consistent care, consistent treatment. You have to talk to your doctor to draw up a treatment plan. So for the early cancers, there are a lot of treatment options that you can have. So if your doctors are able to do this with early detection, then you can go into remission. There are so many cancers that can actually go into remission, even breast cancer. I've seen people that caught it very early, caught it very young, and then they got cured. They went to remission, and there was no repeat. But for those with advanced cancer, this is where we talk about palliative care, talk about therapy, family and good therapy. No matter what, cancer care is also multidisciplinary. It's not just about drugs, it's not just about physical. The mental aspect is also very important. So because cancer is not what anybody prays for. People go into oblivion. They go into not wanting to accept that they have cancer because of how serious cancer that can be. So what I would like to tell people living with cancer is that it's not the end of the world. It's not a death sentence. Just go to the hospital on time. Talk to your therapist. talk to your physician, let them start treatment for you on time so that your lifespan can be elongated. And also know that it is multidisciplinary. It's not just about your doctors, your friends, good support system, good family therapy, good group therapy can also help live with cancer. Okay, thank you.
That was a very beautiful one there. You can live a cancer-free life. You can live a life that is devoid of cancer. That's one key point. And if you're already down with it, there are specific cure, there are specific regimens for you to follow and ensure you elongate lifespan and live a very productive life. Thank you so much, Dr. Muili, for coming on the show this morning. I've been so educated. It was a great pleasure having you. And we hope to see you again soon
Oh,
on the
definitely.
program.
It's always my pleasure. This is what I love to do. I love to do this.
Thank you. Stay with us on Good Morning Abuja. We'll take a short break, and when we come back, we have more discussion and information coming your way. All right, welcome back to the show, and I do hope that we are adding a lot of value to your morning. Our next discussion is centered around small-scale manufacturing, an engine for economic development, and I've been joined in the studio by the ever-dynamic and brilliant Global Director, Africa House. Please let's welcome Engineer Abayomi Onosonya. Good morning, sir.
Thank you for having me. Good
It's
morning.
always a great pleasure to have you here.
Thank you. Pleasure is mine. Thank you so much.
So now let's start this way. Why is small-scale manufacturing important to us in Nigeria?
All right. Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, Abuja. Thank you for having me. We need to understand that great economies, like the Western economies we look up to, their economies are being driven by small and medium enterprises. In fact, their old GDP is being driven by about 60 to 70% of the companies there, which are basically SMEs. And in order for you to grow any nation, including ours, Nigeria, you need to pay serious attention to small and medium enterprises. What do I mean by this? If you look at the market landscape in Nigeria, you see that you have small businesses left, right, and center, the lady selling granite, the guy roasting corn, the lady manufacturing bag, the hairdresser and all that. All those little businesses, they're actually the main engine behind any economy around the world. You know, like I said earlier, America, England, and the rest, their whole economy is being driven by small and medium enterprises. And if for you to ignore them, you ignore them to your peril, so to say. So Africa needs to take a cue from them to start focusing a whole lot on these small businesses that you don't even take notice of. Because without them, there will be no economic growth. Because we all make that mistake of focusing on the big players, maybe Dangote Cement and Dangote Water and all that, and all, even refiners and oil and gas. But unfortunately, those guys represent, a little percentage of your actual growth. So in order for us to grow our continent, our nation, we need to pay serious attention to these small businesses and give them all the tools they require in order to grow our economy.
What are the basic products that an average manufacturer can delve into?
Wow. Now that's a good question, because in Nigeria, we're so blessed that anywhere you turn to, there's always an opportunity. And I want to tell Nigerians that just look around you. Let's use Abuja. Let's even start from where we are. Let's look at Abuja here. If you look towards Gwagwalada, you find cashew. Cashew is worth billions and billions of dollars. And a small business can basically go to Gwagwalada there or go to even Kubwa market, buy cashew nut in the bottle, package it, label it, and then you start making money from cashew. And the beauty is you can even export them. That's that. If you go to, let's say, Akwa Ibom, you have palm oil. You see, which you can tap into, because gone are the days where palm oil is being sold in the local way. Everything has to be packaged and done nicely. We need to add value to it. And then you go to, let's say, northern parts of Nigeria, you find out they have groundnut, you see, which is another business value chain entirely. You can do groundnut oil, which is fantastic business, and many do not even know that groundnut oil is cholesterol free, by the way. That which means we'll be saving billions of dollars in replacing olive oil, because olive oil, we've been told that olive oil is the healthy oil that you put on your salad, it's good for your heart and whatnot. Thank you very much. But the groundnut that we have in the north of Nigeria, Niger State, you go to Lambata or Lapai, is loaded with groundnut. You go to Benue, they have groundnut. You go to Jigawa, they have groundnut. You go to Kebbi, they have groundnut. So you can do that as well. And then the shoe industry, Don't even get me started on the shoe industry. You go to Aba, for example, oh Lord, those people make fantastic shoes and bags, which can be exported. And in fact, a lot of people actually do export the shoes and bags from Aba to Dubai, to China, and then they'll tell you, oh, this is made in Italy. So everywhere you turn in Nigeria, you can make a whole lot of money. So this is my message to Nigerians. We are blessed with a whole lot of things. If you talk about minerals, I can talk for 2 days on the minerals that we have. You go to Nasarawa, I keep saying Nasarawa is one of the wealthiest places on earth, is Nasarawa state.
Really?
Yes, because Nasarawa is loaded with gemstones. Gemstones worth trillions of dollars in Nasarawa state. Not to talk of lithium, the energy of the future is in Nasarawa, is in Abuja too, by the way. So every corner, every state of the federation is money. So we need to start opening our eyes to see these opportunities and start making money, and so we can grow our economy to that place where we want to be.
Wow, you always bring hope with you every time you're on the show. What's the average budget that any manufacturer can start with?
Well, and that's the beautiful thing. In Nigeria of today, given the economic circumstances, you can start a business with 50,000 naira. And I'll explain. I'll give you a practical example so you don't think I'm just pulling these figures out of my hat. Look at Benue State. You see, Benue State is blessed with a lot of agricultural produce. You can go to Benue State and buy oranges for very cheap. Now a basket of oranges 2,005. That bean basket exactly, or 3,000 exactly. But if you go to Benue, you get it for like 300, 400, 500 naira actually. So you get that for maybe you get 10 baskets, and then you buy the packaging bottle for juices, for example. You can buy it in Kubwa. A piece is around 35 cedis is around 600, 700 naira, okay, for the good quality ones, yeah. You buy that, you buy the oranges. Of course, you have to get equipment in day, which you can buy for around maybe 10, 12,000, just to keep it according to NAFDAC standard. So you squeeze it, you sterilize it, you package it, you seal it. So with less than 50,000 naira, there's a lot of businesses you can actually start that you can actually export. Not to talk about, you can even do, what's it called, granite businesses or granite oil business. What do you need to do? You go to the market, you buy a bag of granite in Benue for 46,000 naira, the 80 kg bag, you buy it, you squeeze out the oil. You can use the traditional method, or if you have the machine, you can do that as well. So there are a lot of small businesses that you can start, with very little capital. If you've got 1 million, you can do a whole lot. You get 10 million, you can employ 100 people. So we need to start thinking, because our problem in Africa, in my opinion, is we're so blessed that we got lazy, that it's all right, but we need to start re-strategizing so that we need to start taking advantage of those little things that we have. Cashew, you can start with less than 100,000 naira. You can start cashew business for export, and you'll be earning dollars. With your 100,000 naira, you can make 2-3 million naira easy. Even in your house, you don't even need to have a shop. You can do it in your kitchen. That's how fantastic some of these opportunities that we have, that we can make money from in this wonderful country called Nigeria.
This is mind-blowing. Now, what are some of the challenges that small-scale manufacturers can encounter in Nigeria?
Well, I'll try to do justice to that question because it's a bit complicated. What do I mean by this? The first hindrance, in my opinion, is lack of information. I always tell people anywhere I go that the difference between wealth and poverty is information. You see, I told people once, I said, do you know that the oranges that we are wasting here in Nigeria is money in Russia and the CIS? People didn't understand, and I broke it down for them. I said, see, when I was living in that region, I discovered that during winter, people always get sick because the lack of vitamin C. And in Nigeria, we're throwing away oranges during orange season. And when that information came to the forefront, people said, oh, so there's money in oranges. So people started exporting oranges. And I even told them that, see, you can slice it, dry it, and export. I said, oh, I can do that. So that information is the first thing. We need to spend a lot of energy in gathering information. And this is where our schools come into context. We need to move away from the idea of, let's just rush through the syllabus, get your degree in engineering, in media production, and that's it. Learn other things. Don't restrict yourself. And to my message to young folks out there, I'm not saying don't use your phone or don't scroll through your social media. Do that. But while you're doing that, spend a bit of time researching things that are not related to what you're normally studying. Just learn something randomly. If I'm an engineer, let me just learn about media. You see, and before you know it, you start gathering information. Oh, I can actually be doing this and doing this at the same time. So information is key, and I'm happy NTA is doing wonderful job at this. Because they're educating our listeners and they're hearing all these opportunities, and people will start thinking. So now I'm sure our listeners will start. Okay, I can make money with 100K, right? So so that's one. Number two is access to finance. You see, and a lot of SMEs do complain that, oh, we don't have money, the banks don't want to give us money, which is true. But the truth is, most of them have not positioned themselves in a way to be bankable. You see, in order for any bank or even an individual, in fact, to give you 1 naira, they need to show them you know what you're doing. You need to keep records. You need to know a bit of accounting. You need to be able to keep records. You need to be registered as a business, pay your taxes, do your annual returns, file your tax returns and everything. So those documentation proves to them that you can handle money well. If you can do that, I can bet you 70% of the finance that you require, you can get it. That's just the reality. So finance is number one. And the third one is, I don't want to use the word overtaxation. I want to say the interference of certain agencies in the growth of small businesses. What do I mean by this? If you in Abuja of today, if you try to start any business whatsoever, let's use Kubo. I like to use Kubo a lot. I don't know why.
Tell me why.
I don't know. I mean, because I have a lot of friends living in Kubo. When you open a small shop, let's say I want to start manufacturing ribbons for women's hair.
Okay.
Within the next 2 to 7 days, you'll be bombarded by a barrage of agencies and whatever, asking you to pay one fee or the other. And you ask yourself, I'm just trying to start. I've only started with 200,000 naira. They will bring a bill, 10,000. We are from the council. We are from this. We are from the signage authority. We are from this. So the guy is inundated with all this, shock. It's like a shock to him that, do I need to pay all this? So many people get discouraged and they abandon the whole process entirely. So this is my message to agencies across Nigeria and Africa. Please, we should remember, if these small businesses survive, we will survive as a nation. They are the economy, actually. Don't see the big companies as, oh, don't touch these big companies. Help them the whichever way you can. I'm not saying don't let them pay taxes. Pay your taxes, but educate them first. Let them know, madam, you're starting this business, so these are the laws, these are the rules. Please go get these things in order so that by the time we come next month, you're ready for us. But they come in with the punitive mentality. We're here to punish you. You open a shop, you don't have this paper, you are in trouble. They'll put a seal on your door like the guy has committed an offense. So the point is, we need to be soft on these small businesses because they're the very heart of our economy. If you're soft on them, you discover that businesses will spring up, economy will thrive, and then before you know it, a lot of things will happen. There are other factors, but those are the three I would like to highlight quickly because of our time so that I don't bore our listeners.
Speaking of education and awareness and advocacy and all sort of things, are there any support programs available for would-be or intending manufacturers? Small scale.
Small scale, right? Yes, there are. But, funny enough, but again, unfortunately, many people do not even know these things exist, and this breaks my heart. And this is where I believe NTA is doing a good job, and we need to challenge the NOA, the National Orientation Agency, to do better. What do I mean by this? I'll use an example to explain. Here in Abuja, there's an agency of government called Abuja Enterprise Agency. Abuja Enterprise Agency basically it was established by the government to assist small businesses startup. What do they offer you? First of all, there was a time they were doing business registration for free. You could walk in there, give them your company name, your details. They would go to CAC and do your registration for free. You don't need to pay a penny. But Nigerians abused it. People registered, they didn't even pick up their certificate of incorporation. You go to the office now, there's packs and packs of certificates that people abandon because they didn't pay for it. So that's one. And also they offered you office facilities, very cheap office facilities where you can actually do your business without paying millions in rent or office space. They give those facilities and they do trainings free. All you need to do is walk up there, register with them, and they'll be calling you every time there's a program that actually helps you. And you go to different states of the federation, there are so many projects, so many support programs like that as well. And the presidential initiative on supporting small businesses is also there. So all these things exist, but people need to search them out. And also, we need to do a lot of publicity like what we're doing here on NT and other platforms so that people can know what it benefits, what opportunities are there for them to tap into. So there's a lot of things that they can actually tap into that exist for them.
small scale manufacturers can actually thrive and be a driving force for our economic development as a nation. We'll take a short break at this point, but don't go anywhere. There is more when we return. Well, welcome back to the show. It's still Good Morning Abuja, and we're looking at small scale manufacturers and engine for economic development. Of course, the Global Director, Africa House, is still here with me. Speaking of which, what do you do specifically at the Africa House to support intending small scale manufacturers?
Yeah, thank you for that question because what we do basically is we have a program called the industrialization of the African economy program. So what do? We basically help small and medium enterprises get started on this journey because now we've given ideas on TV, on radio, we've told people we can do cashew, we can do oranges, we can do shoes, we can do and all that. But the question is, it might be daunting sometimes. So what do? We provide a platform that not only educates you, we also provide with machineries and equipment, which are 70% local content, by the way. Because if you tell a small business, go and import machine from God knows where, you'll be spending forex that we do not have as a nation. So what we did was we started our local content manufacturing here in Abuja, where all those small equipments that you need to start is being built here in Abuja, where you can actually see them, you can actually purchase them at affordable rates, so you can get your business started. So we train you, we give you equipment, and then we link you up with export market. So as you're doing your cashew, as you're processing your cashew and packaging it nicely, we're telling you, okay, go and sell to this nation, go and sell to this nation. These are the links, these are the government policies, these are the platforms that you can use to get out there. So these are some of the things we do to basically hold the hands of entrepreneurs and most especially civil servants. Because this is one area that I'm passionate about because my father retired in 1996, and exactly in 1996, and then Nigeria was still trying to transit to democracy at that time. So there was a whole lot of stress because pensions were not being paid, and then you discover that most pensioners, live a very very stressful life after they retire because. Imagine going to work 8 to 5 for 35 years, all of a sudden you wake up, you don't know where to go, what to do. Do I go to work? Do I open a business? So people are confused. People have their pension and gratuity in their hand. What do I do? And unfortunately, people will start lying to them. They will say, I know pure water business is good. And Nigerians with different ideas. And the guy will pour all his money in pure water business and he will lose it. The guy will pour his money into this business, he will lose it. So we focus a lot on educating civil servants before they retire, so that you are equipped with all the knowledge and the skills before you retire, 10 years, 5 years before you retire. And in fact, we encourage you to start that business before you retire so that you will have made all the mistakes before you retire and learn, say, this business, you don't do it this way, you don't do it this way. So by the time you retire, you are confident, you already understand the ins and outs of the business, so you just thrive after you retire. So in fact, we're even encouraging people to retire early. Like I would advise you, just retire tomorrow morning. Why not? You see, because you already have the skills, you have the resources, you have the tools, and then you'll be earning more than you're currently earning, and then you can advise others to say, let's create room for this younger generation to come in and take our place. So this is the vision that we have and some of the things we're doing because we need to grow this nation and these young people are looking up to us.
This is very nice. We need to grow this nation and it's all about the future.
Exactly.
Now, I know that there are some intending young persons out there but they are down to their last kobo in their bank account. Are there any measures or any access to financing on ground for intending small-scale manufacturers?
Yeah, there are financing structures or programs on ground for them to tap into. And like I said, the presidential initiative on small businesses is there, assisting small businesses. But this is what I always tell people, especially the young folks. Make sure you are offering value. Don't do repetitive business. Because we fall into this trap of, this guy is doing this business and he's driving a Jeep. Let me do exactly what you do. You don't have to copy someone. Be creative in what you do and find out that this business I'm doing, do people want to pay for it? Because not every good idea is a business and not every business is a good idea. That's the reality. You might think that, Nigeria is hot, so let me be selling pure water. But would pure water work for you? Would you work for the locality you find yourself? So make sure that you spend 80% of the time on research, 20% in execution. But in Africa, we do the fire brigade approach. We just pour the money in and figure it out as we go. And unfortunately, many people burn their fingers. So young people don't make the mistake that we older folks have made. Do your research, extensive research, and also incorporate yourself. Get registered. Keep a record of everything. Don't use your personal account for business, because the problem is when you go to a bank for loan or facilities, they will ask you bring your records. You have no records. You are showing your personal account. They won't look at you. They say no. It has to be registered with CAC, and of course you don't need to open a limited liability company. You can do an enterprise, which is cheap to register. Do that. Have a bank account. Keep records. No matter how small the money that you're getting, just keep a record of everything. Then when you go to the banks and they see the quality of what you're producing, or they see the future behind what you're doing, a lot of people will back you. Do you know how many young folks are being funded billions of dollars of naira in their businesses? Look, I don't want to mention there's a particular payment platform that people know, because if I mention the advertisement for them, right, it's already big. But anyhow,
Will tax you.
Exactly. So this guy the guy graduated from Babcock University.
Okay.
This guy created a payment platform, and now he's a global brand because he knew what he was doing, and then he created a structure for it. Now he's one of the top tech companies in Africa. So you can do it too. You don't need to wait for someone to push you or get billions before you start. Just start, but do it the right way, and then money will come.
I wish we could go on and on and on and on. But before I let you go quickly, should there be any correlation between what I decide to do and my passion?
Not necessary, because the truth is passion is good. Don't get me wrong, passion is really good.
Okay.
But the truth is sometimes passion don't pay the bills, unfortunately.
Wow.
You see, because let's say I have a passion for maybe manufacturing cameras, for example, and I do it so well. Yes, you make money, but the truth is you may discover that the trend in the economy is moving towards certain things, and then you can diversify. But of course, passion is good. Follow your heart, don't get me wrong, but look at the realities of life. Be quick to diversify. Don't stick to one line of business. You can have 4 businesses at the same time, and out of that 4, maybe only 1 is giving you money, but the other 3 is giving you peace of mind, because it's something you love to do. So passion is not, it's not good. It doesn't pay the bills.
Prerequisite.
Exactly.
So finally, what will be your parting words to our our very dynamic youths of Nigeria?
Well, Nigerian youth, the truth is Africa is loaded with opportunities. You don't need to leave Nigeria to make money. I ran away 20-something years ago. I came back, you see.
Oh, wow.
And because I realized, having been around the world, that in the end, everything is here in Africa. Those countries we go to, they make money right from here in Africa. So why not stay here and build that nation? And look around you. You find opportunities left, right, and center. Do a bit of research, study hard, understand what economics of the world looks like, and see what the world needs, and then build your business around that. And before you know it, you become a big business. And of course, God helping you, you become one of the greatest at what you do.
Wow. It is safe to say that you always come and you save the day, save the nation.
Thank you.
Thank you for always coming to inform us and educate us. Okay, stay with us on the show this morning. There is more discussion coming up when we return from this short break.